are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Ideal Education Wednesday workshop where today I will be going over some hiring threats that you may be facing in regards to getting unqualified candidates, why this may be happening, and maybe some preventative steps that we can go towards to ensure that we are addressing these candidates from the very beginning. But as always, a recording of this presentation will be sent to you via email once completed. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to chat them. I will go ahead and chat back at the very end, if not during the presentation, to get those answered. But what do you say that we get started? So, the first thing with potentially getting unqualified candidates, right, is that we have to create a job ad specifically made for the candidate that we are looking for, right? So sometimes when creating that job ad, we tend to ask for different requirements, like they be licensed or they have X amount of insurance experience, right? The different requirements that are listed there should essentially be the bare minimum that they have to have in order to have a conversation with you, right? So, what I mean by that is sometimes I've seen an ad that may state that the license is required, right? But it's paid in full by the agency. So, in regards to that, would the license necessarily be required in order to have that conversation with you, right? If the answer is no, well, I help out with that. That's where you could just state inside of the benefits section that licensing paid in full by employer, right? So this way they can fully understand that even if they don't have that experience, right, that they can still expect some assistance in regards to being able to have that. Now, next, we also tend to see things like experience required, right? 2+ years of experience or 3+ years of insurance experience, right? And what being just completely transparent is that now we are trying to fill that specific niche for that position, right? Someone that has these more qualifications and such tends to take a lot longer to hire because of the fact that not a lot of people are waking up in the morning one day and just saying, I'm going to get my insurance license, right? It tends to be a position that is often filled by referrals, um, friends, things of that nature, right? So we just want to make sure that if you are going to consider hiring someone that might not have that experience, but maybe you start them off on a slightly lower pay scale, right? That is being conveyed inside of your job ad. So this way, someone that might have not have that experience yet, they still have an idea as to what they can make now when they're first getting started versus what someone can expect to make when they're, let's say, a month in, right? Or maybe a year in. What does your top performer make? These are often questions that we want to be able to understand from the job ad. So this way we don't have any questions before the candidates are applying. Now, kind of going a little bit further forward then, so we are essentially creating this ad specifically for that role, right? Now, applicants start applying. Now, let's say if you are looking for someone that might have experience, and if you get someone that is inexperienced that applies, the biggest reason that we tend to see for this happening is because of the fact that they see something inside of your ad that resonates with them, right? Whether they see your competitive pay structure, whether it is that you offer career growth opportunities, right? Just different factors might go into that, and your benefits also play a factor as well. So maybe they just see a lot more competitive benefits compared to what they currently have. So, in regards to maybe getting that unqualified applicant, I personally suggest reaching out to them, whether it's by sending them back an email or by sending them a video interview, just really digging deeper as to what made them interested in that position. So this way you can understand going forward if it's someone that you would like to continue on with, right? If they have that hunger and drive, maybe their uncle owns an insurance agency, right? And they recommended getting started somewhere, maybe their office is full, whatever it might be. Right. So a couple of different factors just might go into that, but essentially you aren't going to know until they apply, right? So now going forward with them, if that is someone that you would like to consider, again, you can easily move them throughout the different hiring stages. But if it is someone that absolutely not, I cannot consider you, you don't have what I'm looking for, nothing in this resume is compatible with the position that I'm looking to hire for. You can always send them a rejection letter directly from your Ideal Traits account. So if you were to sign into your Ideal Traits account, and under the candidates tab, there will be an option there for sending them to the archive stage. Now, what this means is that not only can you assign a tag to them, so for example, if they are inexperienced or maybe didn't have the requirements that you met, right? You can add a tag so this way, when going through your archive folder, you can easily understand why you moved them to that stage. But in addition to that, you can also send them a rejection letter. And this could be for various number of reasons. Maybe they missed an interview. Maybe they weren't qualified for the position that you were hiring for, right? Essentially, at the end of the day, the communication that you give that candidate is going to be way more beneficial. So this way they can fully plan accordingly for that next step in their hiring journey, as well as you offering that full transparency in regards to them knowing that they just weren't selected for the job at the end of the day. Because the role that you're hiring for, you do want to be specific to make sure that that personality does line up. This is where our assessment can come into play to fully understand that personality, right? But after that, you do ultimately have to decide if that is going to be someone that you want in your agency. So please don't feel like the bad guy for sending a rejection letter or anything of that nature, because at the end of the day, it is a competitive hiring market. I will say that the number of candidates that are out there that don't have their insurance license versus those that do, it doesn't even come close to compare. Right? So that's definitely just something to keep in mind. But as well as being able to use the personality assessment for those that don't meet those requirements, right? Because again, if they maybe don't have their license yet, but they have that drive, they have what it takes, they want to work for an agency that is successful and help you grow your business. Maybe that's someone that's at least worth giving an interview to, right? So just something to consider as well. So if you do finally decide to move them to that archive stage, excellent. They will be sent an email of your choosing, or you can choose not to if you would like. But again, this way now your hiring stages are all taken care of and you can move on accordingly. Now, going into finding these candidates that do have that license and such. So, at the end of the day, if you do want a top level performer, I will say that your job ad does need to reflect that. Knowing that it does have their license, they're being an absolute rock star at their current job, will leave for a position that might pay $30 to $40,000, right? So that's why I had mentioned being sure to go over inside of your job ad that you are really highlighting as to what they can expect to make, whether they are inexperienced or that experienced person, right? As well as what your top performer makes. So this way, again, they can fully understand what they are going to be potentially leaving their current place of employment to then work for you. Because if your ad just isn't competitive enough, they just might choose to either stay where they're currently at, if not, look elsewhere with the job ads that do answer those questions because they know their worth. Getting an insurance license, it does take some time as well as money. So that is definitely something that they are considering with that position and the pay structure as well as the benefit section too. I often recommend just vamping that up, right? If you have any unique out of the box opportunities listed there, like if you pay for their gym membership, or if you have a little office dog, right? Whatever it might be, any unique things that make you stand out from the agency down the road that can essentially hook them to reel them in, that's what we want to see inside of your ad. And another factor that you could also, I personally suggest doing is going on Indeed, right? You could easily, from a candidate's perspective, see in your area how many different job ads are listed there. What's the average salary that's listed, right? Tons of different things that you can do just to kind of get an idea as to who your competition is. And this way you can plan accordingly to ensure that your job ad is not only competitive, but that you are attracting these candidates that essentially you're looking for. Now, at the end of the day, unfortunately, ideal traits cannot necessarily stop anyone from applying, right? And the reason being is that Indeed, as well as all the other job boards, they are a public job board, right? So I wish that there's a way that when someone that was unqualified for the position that you're hiring with, I wish that there was a way for me to say, stop, you do not fit the qualifications needed. However, if they see something inside of your ad that resonates with them, they do have that opportunity to apply. And again, this is where you can go into taking those next steps if you do or don't want to continue on with them, right? And being able to go about that route. Another thing is that, especially with those that have the license being required, I always recommend that that is like bolded inside of your job ad in the job description, potentially even twice, right? Property and casualty license required, just bolded. Doesn't have to be all capitalized or anything of that nature, but again, just a bold, so this way they fully understand at the beginning and at the end, this is going to be a requirement as well as a qualification that I need to make sure that I can meet before I can be further moved along. Now, if someone applies that maybe they might want to eventually get their license, right? That still might be worth having a conversation, like, or they're in the middle of getting that license, right? Again, we don't want to just necessarily cut someone off completely because we haven't even had that conversation as to what they're looking to do, right? So that's definitely going to be a factor to keep in mind. um, it again, another resource that you can utilize is LinkedIn. That is great for just being able to look up individuals in your area that might have the qualifications that you're looking for, because that is essentially an opportunity to network with people that do meet the requirements that you have. You could easily send them a message inside of there or connect with them to then be able to send them a message, let them know about the great opportunity that you have, as well as being able to further send them your career page, which can showcase all of your open opportunities that you have. So this can be accessed by selecting the help tab, or sorry, the jobs tab from your ideal trait screen. And from there, you can then select your career page. It'll be next to the search bar. It's right above in the middle of the screen where your job ads are listed. And from there, that is where you can either copy your URL if you do want to share your job, your career page to any marketing materials that you have. We also have a QR code that you can easily download and from there share out to any marketing materials, or if you want to add it to your email signature, whatever it might be, right? Making sure that you are essentially getting your opportunity out there in as many ways as possible. So you can also edit it from that option on your jobs tab to make sure it looks all up to date, everything looks good, you have a nice job description in there, and then again being able to copy that job ad URL and sending that to candidates so then they can easily apply to your position. So just a couple of different ways on reaching out to them. And again, at the end of the day, unfortunately, ideal traits, we cannot stop anyone from applying, but there are some things that you can do, like I mentioned, just adding those quick things to your ads to make sure that your ad is speaking exactly to the person that you want, right? Because if you would be considering someone that doesn't have that experience, let's make sure that your ad is saying that, right? There are tons of different factors that go into the hiring journey. So we definitely just want to be sure that we are answering any questions that candidates are having to this way make sure that we are being fully transparent. If you haven't had a chance to check out our new job ad templates, I would highly encourage that, because of the fact that here you can essentially see um, all of the new ones that we have, right? We really do go into examples of what the candidate can expect to make if they are experienced versus inexperienced, because we do understand that this can be a process that does take some time. So we definitely just want to make sure that any questions that are being potentially missed inside of that job ad, that they are being answered when creating that job ad as well. Also, just keep in mind that we want to make sure that we're not overwhelming the candidate as well. Because again, if they are going from one job opportunity to another, we definitely don't want them to feel like they are going to be doing 3 times the amount of work, when really we just might be duplicating some of the potential we might just be duplicating some of the words inside of there, right? So an example of this would be about how we have like 3 different ones for making outbound calls and going about that route. So if you do have any questions about creating that job, please feel free to reach out to our support team. We do an amazing job at really being able to go over your ad with you, making sure that everything is up to date and it does look efficient. So this way, everything is coming across clearly to the candidates that may be applying. And you can easily access this by either selecting the chat bubble in the bottom right hand corner. You can also check out the help tab at the very top of your ideal trait screen. From there, you can again start a chat with us. You can visit our help center. We have tons of tools, resources, and even blog posts going over very similar like topics and just general information in there as well. And if you select that help tab, you can also start a call with us as well. All that we ask is that you just select a day and time that works best for you. You can either select a rep's name, like myself, or you can even select the first available one. If you do select the first available, whatever day and time that you select, one of us will reach out to you and we'll get you taken care of to ensure, again, that your questions are being answered about that job ad, really anything about your hiring process. So if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate on reaching out. But that is essentially all that I had for today. I will go ahead and leave the questions open for a bit. So if you guys do need anything else, please feel free to chat in. I'll go ahead and get those taken care of. But thank you so much for joining today. Again, a recording will be sent to you once we complete this and we'll get you taken care of. But as always, happy hiring, and I hope that you have yourself a great rest of your day. I'll go ahead and take a look over at the chats now.